Today, we share a story, a tale of two different realities in the cryptocurrency world. One of fraud, manipulation, pumping and dumping schemes, and one of building a new financial system. And this would, of course, tie us back to Ripple and XRP. On the other side, we see Bitcoin, Binance, and the whole program complete failure, falling apart, and being exposed. This is a breaking moment, an inflection point in the cryptocurrency space as we enter the next bull run where XRP, the light finally gets shined on it, and the people understand the truth that, wait, this isn't just a centralized banker's coin. No, it actually can help me. I actually can use DeFi on the XRPL. And I have another episode that's going to be coming up here shortly on the XRPL AMM. It's going to be a very big one, so make sure you stay tuned by subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and let's get right on into today's update. It's going to be a quick one. Now, Bitcoin back up today. Let's take a look at our charts. 36,417 for our Bitcoin. Remember, we're bouncing off 38,000 two times here within the last week. Now we cool off another back test of 35.5. That was yesterday. And then earlier this week on Tuesday, after the CPI lie got released, we saw Bitcoin went down to 34.7. Okay, so we're watching Bitcoin move right now sideways in a region between 35,000 and 38,000 was the most recent top. We hit it twice now. We'll be watching this one closely, along with Ethereum, which topped out about 2,138, and it's since cooled off here, coming back down, and now we see Ethereum at 1942. Now, this 4-hour candle that we're watching as I record this video, we are bouncing up. XRP bounced down to about 58, basically 589 earlier this morning. That would be 0.589, right? 58 cents this morning. Huge shout out to the community that picked up that dip. I know our community in the Discord was talking about buying the dip on XRP. Absolutely love to see it. We're watching the DXYs back down, breaking below 104 here today. And so as we normally see, this is what surprised me earlier this week, is when the CPI lie came out at 3.2% and everyone was cheerleading, oh, the Fed's won the fight against inflation. Yeah, well, everybody was losing faith in the dollar too, because we know that the Fed's about to pivot. And the whole reason why the dollar index went up so high, why the dollar got so strong, was because the Fed had raised rates at the fastest pace in history, and the US dollar was the cleanest shirt in the closet. But to explain that and bring it to the chart here, DXY drops on that news that the CPI came out at 3.2%. And what was so interesting is on that same day, that's when crypto collapsed too, right here on Tuesday. So Bitcoin went back down below 35,000. We saw Ethereum came back down. We saw XRP back down to about 58 cents once again. And so today, and I was worried because normally that's not what happens. When the DXY goes down, normally crypto goes up, and that's what's taking place here today. DXY falling off and cryptocurrencies going up. Love to see it. Let's take a look here. The 2-year is back up to 4.9%, and the 10-year is still at 4.44. So treasuries back up today. Oil back up today to about $80. Now, they had just killed oil earlier this week. That was yesterday, where it topped back down to about $73 per barrel for oil. Now we saw that gold and silver both rallied this week, both showing incredible strength, right? Absolutely love to see it. And the stocks were basically all up. Nvidia, S&P 500, and your Dow Jones all basically back up. And Dow Jones cooling off a little bit here today. But this was another up week for the stocks. Total cryptocurrency market cap has cooled off from the high that we just hit of 1.4 trillion, bouncing back up here today, as we shared with you, DXY falling off and crypto finally moving back up. Now, I wanted to share, though, the tale of two realities in the cryptocurrency space, and that's what we're going to do here in today's video, because we're now reporting that the Bitcoin fees are up a whopping 950% from a year ago due to the rise of ordinals, which are essentially just worthless NFTs spamming the network. So, relatively speaking, Bitcoin fees not as bad as Ethereum, but still, this is not the future of the financial system, right? This is not how we run the big payment rails, wholesale payments. You can't make it happen. You can't even make small retail payments happen or really work at scale when you're at $18 for a fee. Now, this is up a whopping 950% from a year ago, just because they started to release some NFTs on the Bitcoin ledger. This has clogged the Bitcoin network, resulting in many waiting over 2 days for their transactions to send, with an average Bitcoin fee of $18.69. Well, let's continue on how this program's working out. Fees surging beyond $18 to $35, transactions taking over 48 hours, still zero adoption worldwide, El Salvador usage down 98%. The Bitcoin maxis touted how well El Salvador, right? This is going to save this country. They don't need the IMF. They don't need the US dollar. Well, apparently they don't need Bitcoin either, as the usage is now down 98% in El Salvador. 85% of buying is from Tether and fraud. Now, that's always been the case, still going on. And I just reported on an article, Tether now apparently wants to run a significant amount of the Bitcoin mining, and they're going to be investing like $500 million in Bitcoin miners. So it's just one big, it's just one big cycle. It's just one big scheme here between Bitcoin and Tether. Bitcoin mining is bad for the environment. We know that. Main users are well, I wouldn't say the main users. Like, let's not stretch this too far. But yes, there is a bunch of criminal activity still being facilitated through Bitcoin. Most of the criminal activity in the world is still being facilitated through the US dollar. So I don't focus on that FUD. I don't focus on that. I'm just keeping it real, right? Most of the fraud, most of the crimes of humanity, crimes against humanity are still facilitated through US dollars. So we can't paint that picture on Bitcoin. But regardless, you look at how is this program working out, taking days for your transactions to go through, fees of $18 to $35 and beyond. And it is basically impossible to scale Bitcoin, as we now cover too, that there was that backdoor in the Lightning Network. So, the efforts to scale up Bitcoin have been a complete failure as well. So once again, this is two tales of the crypto reality that we're experiencing, right? On one side, you have Bitcoin, and you also have Binance. And the situation just continues to get worse for Binance, as it's now reported today that Binance senior counterterrorism official Jennifer Hicks leaves. And so we are seeing all of the top brass of Binance has been jumping off the ship. Not a good sign, and we continue to see calls from Congress and senators in the United States of America that are calling for Binance and Tether to not just be investigated, they're actually advocating for charges to be brought against Binance and Tether. We've already seen that the SEC is going after them, and I think that there's a lot more to uncover where that is. Now, I wanted to share, though, on the other side, we bring this up once again. We've talked about this in the past, the ties between Ripple and Trump's White House. Now, Ripple has ties to every single White House the past 4 or 5 administrations. Bill Clinton speaking at their Swell conference, and also Ripple working with the Trump administration as well. They've been working with both sides of the aisle, and they're not political. They just want to get deals done, and that's what I'm here for too, right? But this tweet was shared here today by Mr. Intuitive. In plain sight all along, remember Ripple went from the media darling pre-2017, then something changed. One of my favorites, mentioned in the report for digital assets by Steve Mnuchin for Trump's Executive Order 13772. Now, in our community, we had focused on many of these executive orders that were put out by Trump and his White House because they were a big shift. This one was called A Financial System That Creates Economic Opportunities, Non-Bank Financials, Fintech, and Innovation, right? So really, trying to push this thing forward. Now, Steve Mnuchin was Secretary of Treasury. We understand that. And I'm going to show you who Craig Phillips was, the counselor to the secretary. We're going to show you who Craig Phillips was here shortly. Participants in the executive order engagement process. And sure enough, we do find Ripple and R3. Now, if you guys missed it, I just dropped a video this morning, and we talked about how R3 is still using XRP. XRP was the first settlement mechanism for R3's product, Corda Settler, and that was confirmed by David Schwartz. So if you missed that, that was dropped this morning. Make sure you go check that out. Folks want to say that nobody's using XRP. Ripple has all these partnerships, but nobody's using XRP, right? That's completely false. We have partnerships with R3. And R3 is a group that went all in on XRP in a major way. They have 1 billion XRP. We now know. Who knows how much they've accumulated since? And from the rumors that I've heard, the sources that I've come across, R3 is looking to use XRP in a major way. It's not just that they've, integrated XRP into their core to Settler. They have bigger plans for using XRP down the road too. So that's what I've come across in my research and the sources that we got. And then we also see that Craig Phillips, who was part of drafting this executive order with Steve Mnuchin, was a director at Ripple. So I'm not just clickbaiting, Trump and Ripple's new financial system. Literally, director at Ripple, Craig Phillips, was counselor to Secretary Steve Mnuchin on Executive Order 13772, which was all about using non-bank, fintech companies to create a new economic system with opportunities. That's what this is all about. So Craig Phillips, director at Ripple, and he highlights the fact that Craig brings more than 35 years of industry expertise to Ripple, having held leadership roles at Morgan Stanley and BlackRock. Now, we've been talking a lot about BlackRock recently, haven't we? Most recently, Craig served as counselor to Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin, where he oversaw regulatory framework development for the financial system under Executive Order 13772, as well as efforts to enhance the financial sector's cybersecurity through the Office of Critical Infrastructure Protection and Compliance Policy. He also supported the development of policy for housing finance reform. Another big hitter that's been on the all-star team at Ripple. And further confirmation that Ripple is working with both sides of the aisle. They don't play politics. They're here to get a deal done. You want to sit at the table with the big boys? We can make it happen, right? It's not just the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, Rosie Rios, that joined Ripple. We literally have former leadership role at Morgan Stanley and BlackRock and helping Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin draft executive orders for Trump's White House. Now, we're seeing that Ripple's been engaging in DC as of late as well, and we love to see it. They're engaging with DC while on the other end, they've been battling the SEC in this SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And finally, we have come out victorious, clarity for XRP, and now we start to see this new financial system that they've been working on get unveiled. The deals are there. It's undeniable, right? Craig Phillips talking here with Steve Mnuchin and helping the Trump White House. They've been helping the Biden White House or whatever show is going on over there. But nonetheless, this is what we've always been about. Put our politics aside, everyone should be able to get behind a more inclusive financial system that brings opportunity to every single American. And that's what this does. And the rest of the world's leaning in. The rest of the world's excited. They're looking for alternatives outside the dollar. And meanwhile, in the United States, our regulators are more worried about saving the incumbents. And that's the main objective and goal of our regulators, is not to, move in and lean into a new financial system unless the incumbents have their share of the pie. And we're seeing that with the BlackRock ETFs. I'm about to record another video actually on the XLM ETF. You're not going to want to miss this one. Looking at Grayscale, looking at what they've done with their XLM, we could see an XLM ETF coming up here shortly too. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for that one. A lot more content coming on the way. We also ran up a live show last night too. If you missed that one, we'll have it linked up here. And make sure you guys smash that thumbs up for me on the way out. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're looking to get tapped in with our private investment community, that's over at my website, ZachRector.com. Every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that is when we have our weekly call. It's an opportunity for you to connect with me, ask me questions directly. So come on in and join us tomorrow. That's every Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. It's all at ZachRector.com. Appreciate everyone for stopping by here today. Hope you have a great Friday. God bless.